Imagine walking down a Boston street on a cold January day. Suddenly, a thunderous roar splits the air around you. A towering wall of dark brown liquid charges forward. It moves faster than any person could possibly run. This terrifying event really happened on January 15, 1919. It became one of the strangest disasters in history. People call it the Boston Molasses Flood. That morning began like any ordinary day in Boston. Workers ate lunch, children played, horses pulled carts. Nothing suggested disaster was moments away nearby. In the north end stood a massive steel tank. It belonged to the United States Industrial Alcohol Company. The tank measured 50 feet tall, 90 wide. It held over 2.3 million gallons of thick molasses. Molasses was used to produce industrial alcohol during World War I. The tank was rushed into operation without proper testing. It had leaked from the very beginning. Locals joked about the dripping syrup from the tank. Children even collected molasses in small cans. Employees warned management something was dangerously wrong, but the company ignored all warnings completely. They even painted the tank brown to hide leaks. This made problems invisible to passing residents. On January 15th, the temperature suddenly rose. Molasses inside the tank began to expand quickly. The weakened steel finally failed under pressure. Witnesses said it sounded like machine gun fire and thunder. In seconds, a 25-foot wave of molasses surged. It moved at nearly 35 miles per hour. Buildings were smashed, steel beams twisted, streets destroyed. A nearby firehouse was ripped completely from its foundation. People were knocked off their feet immediately. Horses were thrown into the air helplessly. Entire streets disappeared under the sticky flood. Molasses is thick, heavy, and suffocating, unlike water. Once it covered someone, movement became nearly impossible. Cold January air hardened the syrup instantly. Victims struggled to free their legs and arms. Molasses filled mouths and clogged lungs painfully. Some were crushed by falling buildings and debris. Others drowned slowly in the sticky mass. Many suffocated, unable to escape the deadly trap. 21 people lost their lives that day. Over 150 more suffered severe injuries. Families were torn apart in moments of chaos. Rescue teams rushed into waist-deep molasses immediately. Every step felt like walking through wet cement. Tools stuck in sticky syrup, making rescue nearly impossible. Horses collapsed from exhaustion, pulling trapped victims. Bodies were discovered days later beneath hardened layers. Some were completely coated in dried syrup and debris. Neighborhoods smelled of sugar and alcohol for weeks. Long after cleanup, streets remained brown and sticky. Hot summer days brought a faint, lingering molasses smell. Investigations revealed the disaster was corporate negligence. The tank was poorly constructed with thin steel. It was never properly tested for safety. Engineers confirmed the company knew it was unsafe. Yet the company continued production despite the risks. This negligence directly caused the deadly flood. Families filed over 100 claims against the company. The lawsuits became one of the largest in history. Years of hearings revealed shocking evidence of poor construction. The company was found fully responsible for disaster. They were ordered to pay over $600,000. Millions in today's money compensated victims and families. The tragedy reshaped American industrial safety standards. Strict regulations required engineering reviews for all large structures. Inspections became mandatory to prevent similar disasters. Safety could no longer be ignored by corporations. In a strange way, laws were written in molasses. The flood remains shocking because it was utterly bizarre. A city drowned not in water but sticky syrup. It reminds us how disaster strikes when warnings ignored. Profit was prioritized over human life repeatedly that day. There were no alarms, no evacuation, no preparation. An ordinary lunch break became a nightmare instantly. Lives were changed forever in just a few seconds. Children playing moments before vanished beneath the deadly flood. Families waited anxiously for news of missing loved ones. Newspapers called it a city flooded with syrup. Many thought the story unbelievable, almost fictional. But records and eyewitness accounts proved it real. The flood teaches that danger can hide silently. Ordinary industrial structures can suddenly become deadly. Warnings must never be ignored or dismissed lightly. The disaster left a permanent mark on Boston. It became a reminder of corporate responsibility's importance. Modern safety laws were inspired by this event. History's strangest disasters often look harmless at first. Molasses may seem silly, but it killed and destroyed. The Boston Molasses Flood remains haunting to this day. It shows how ordinary days can turn catastrophic instantly. Safety, oversight, and responsibility are lessons written in tragedy. Even decades later, the story still shocks the world. What happened that day cannot be forgotten ever. Boston will always remember the wave of molasses forever.